Gen X Gone Mad at Life in Full Viz, and today I want to talk. I want to share actually my lived experience as it relates to sexual violence. So, heads up. um, in light of the recent events and the Epstein files, I feel like maybe that was a good time to share my story. I don't know. I had been thinking about trying to launch. Have been building an alt ed platform in the social media sphere. But quite frankly, I can't keep up with what all's going on. Originally, the whole bombing thing of Iran to distract from the No Kings. I made this infographic, talking about who my thoughts on who hold the puppets of Trump's um, puppet strings and outcome for the American people as it relates to the big shit bill, and then the role of what these war theatrics and the real consequences of that. And then I moved on to just, because there's been the dismantling of DIEI and people don't have an understanding apparently of what that means at all. And it's, the players big with that is the white nationalists and what I refer to as Christian name only, because their behaviors in no way reflect my understanding of the Gospels and the Beatitudes according to the exemplar set in Christianity anyway, which was my own upbringing. So here's a little bit about me, in terms of just a visual of where I've lived. And so I was born on the Naval Air Station in Corpus Christi, Texas, but very shortly moved when my dad exited the Navy to Georgia, where he became a police officer and entered into, at some point, the Army Reserves, and also did some college courses. And then I guess he went active duty, and we ended up in Oklahoma, Fort Sill, and then we ended up further west when my mom started earning an income and was trying to carve out her own way forward, outside of an abusive marriage. And for me, the first time that I actually have a memory of being touched inappropriately was actually in a hospital when we lived for a short time in Arizona. I don't have any other memories otherwise, but I was about 3 and I had epiglottitis and my airways closed, and they had a hard time getting me intubated, and somebody had to travel to get some special antibiotics because of where we were located. But unfortunately, the night nurse, which my mom later told me gave her creepy vibes. Incidentally, she learned later that he had gotten arrested for dismembering his wife and finding parts of her. So it kind of tracks, I guess, with my memories that I'm not going to go into here. Um, and it continued related to boys in the church, basically. Boys in the church. Um, because I like to play hide and go seek and I like to do active things, and it's kind of a tomboy, if you will. Just really liked outdoors and sports and camping and shooting guns and all the things back then. It's kind of fun. And then my mom was able to exit her significantly abusive marriage, and we left the one stoplight town in western Oklahoma for Fort Worth in Texas, where my grandparents lived in the TCU neighborhood. That's where I first went to school. If you know anything about TCU. In the neighborhood, you'd realize that one stoplight town in Oklahoma today, that's like a big woo, woo, woo. Anyway. And so there were some other things that I'm trying to focus on, just the sexual assaults. The summer of my 14th year, I was able to go to a YMCA camp, overnight camp, and then I was a CIT the next summer, my 15th year. And then at the end of the summer, some counselors had a party, and I was invited. I was not allowed to, of course, go out and do these things, but I snuck out and had my first beer, keg stand, and I was raped. And like many others, I did blame myself because, And when I asked him why he did it, he said, because everybody wanted to. Not long after that, my mom moved us to Florida for her boyfriend, and we were there for about 6 months. And in the first few months, I was sexually assaulted multiple times by two people, actually, both of whom worked for my mom's new boyfriend. And then on my birthday, in June, we moved back to Texas, and while we moved around a little bit trying to get back to where my friends were, I was there until I went off and became an Aggie and went to Texas A&M. And I finished Texas A&M spring of 1998. Got married pretty quick thereafter, and that's when I went overseas. There's a fly in my... Now, to extend upon that, I've never been a person who's looked my age. I've never been a person that some people would take seriously for some reason. I always had to kind of have a stronger presence if I was going to be heard. And sometimes, as what I now understand as a neurodivergent female, can sometimes be a little blunt, and how that's viewed when it's not sweet and cute is bitchy. And that's the world we live in, unfortunately. And while I was able to, in college, I learned a lot, got some training, found support, was away from my not healthy living situation, and I really began to thrive, and I graduated with honors and did some cool things in Texas that got us to overseas, where my eyes opened in many, many ways. And regardless of the ups and downs and the end of my quarter of a century relationship, I have no regrets of that experience. I'm a better person for having lived in the Middle East and Oman and in China, including 3 years of the pandemic. But how this transcends when you're someone like me and look like me or whatever, have the kind of personality I do, or enjoy doing the things that I do. I don't know what it is, but throughout my entire career from the beginning, initially it was more students that I struggle with, and then when I got overseas it was students and faculty members. Nothing over the line, except for maybe once. But anyway, it was a constant source of something I, as a woman, have had to always deal with. And some of the ironies is and I don't know that I would have known this or even imagined this, but I felt more comfortable just being able to not worry about, at least in the greater culture outside of the school culture, people in China, because I just didn't fit there most. Oh wait, holy cow, that's so wrong. I totally forgot about that doctor. Well, scratch that. What can I say? It's been a lifelong challenge from age 3 until I suppose if I were around people, it'd probably still be happening. So, I have some sort of a different constitution, I guess. Maybe it's the stubborn and persistent Hampton genes in me, because they are stubborn and persistent SOBs. But somehow I'm still able to have conversations and get out now with people, and but some people don't. There's no timeline for recovery from complex PTSD. I'm on year, what is it? Let's see, where the first kind of catalyst break occur. That was more in 2021, August of 2021. And then there's March 1st of 2023. And then there was last summer, the final breakdown, I guess, if you will. And it's been a rebuild since. So there are many people I've read accounts of that have been harmed by Trump, and they were forever like damaged the rest of their whole lives. And I kind of feel like it's my duty now that I'm on the path to healing, but not yet there. But it's within reach. When there was a time not too long ago, I was like, oh, I am Looney Tunes forever, and I'm not going to be able to deal with people. But the reality is, I do keep my distance. I am still triggered. I will tell someone to fuck off real fast, real fast, like, and and it's usually like spot on and deserved, if not sometimes misunderstood on some different fronts. But I've had to be very clear with some people here. I'm not, bless your heart, in the South. I'm as Southern as they come. You can't like. Some of these people are coming from other places, and they're not understanding the history. And I do, and I know how to break systems of oppression. And so I guess I feel like that's what I'm here to do, and then somehow power and the world to stop being fucking assholes to each other and keep your hands off women and the decisions that sometimes have to be made. You just can never know what someone else's experience is. That's it. Can never know. But we need to have grace, yes, and find forgiveness in some cases, yes. But when we're in a situation, as we are now, I believe, when we're talking about continuing to allow for this human that has very clearly, like survivors know, like I know who's the threat. I have those spidey senses from the beginning. And I know how to protect myself. So I've taken on this online persona as well of the little general, and me self-assigning myself as the general in the light revolution, spreading love and light and knowledge to hopefully wake everybody up. So they can, so we can like trounce the fascists. It's still July. There's still time to give me Christmas in July. Come on, let's do it. Peace, y'all.